All right, I guess we're live here. Wow, I just thought there was going to be a music countdown. I'm used to those music countdowns, so sorry about that. I'm Catherine. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining me here today. If you haven't checked me out before, you can find me at katherinelearnstuff.com. And I also have a YouTube page, a Facebook page, and a Pinterest page, and they're all at Katherine Learn Stuff, so you can check me out there. Before I get, I've already got a question. What is the most used tool to create with? I love the fussy cutting, so I'll say scissors. All right, so my favorite tool, I don't know, I find a hard one because there's so many different things that it depends what I want to use. I like scissors. I like my paper cutter, glue. Those are probably my favorite sort of tools that I use. I do use a Cricut a lot for my crafting, but not always. Like it's just kind of it's a supplement for crafting if I need like special cuts or something, because I'm not very good at that kind of thing. But that's kind of what I find is my favorite tools. I guess my scissors, my paper cutter, and my glue. Glue for sure is a good one that I've got. While we're waiting for some other questions, I'm just going to quickly show you my card here. If you haven't seen it, Joyce, I'll answer your question in just a second there, but this is the card that I made. I'm sorry, I've got a lot of lights on this. I used shiny paper, and I'm realizing that maybe not the best. I should have probably made a blank that's not so shiny. So this is the card. It is a gatefold card, and the slider comes in and out, so you can slide it in and out. And then inside we have a simple whoops, a simple card that says, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. And you've got some embellishments inside here. And sorry, I'm looking at this backwards, so it's hard for me to tell what's going on. But this was the card that I made. And a while ago, I made for this summit, but I don't know if it was maybe it was last year's summit or 2 years ago, but I did a gatefold card similar to this. And I actually didn't have like a really good folding mechanism. And then I thought, I've got to make something better, because it was a really cute card. It was a wonderful cardinal, and it actually closed, but if you opened it like twice, the paper would bend, and it didn't work so great. So this was the card that I made. And then in the video that I made, sorry, I'm trying to like get a non-shiny angle here, maybe like that. This card I've only done one side on it, but if you make this like the star on both sides or the snowflake on both sides, you could like make this into like Christmas ornament for somebody, or just have it like on your table or whatever. I don't have a good angle here, but you could like bend the back here and actually have it stand. So that's kind of this, and then this. And I try to keep the card simple. I find that oftentimes when I'm making these cards, I get a little bit too creative, too much. And so that I try to keep this simple this year, and I just use kind of snowflake paper. But can you show the back of the snowflake? So this is the back of the snowflake. It's just back of that, and that's the front of the snowflake there. All right, so what's my favorite technique, Joyce? I'm going to say, I don't know if I have a favorite technique. I'm not like, so this is a loaded question for me, I think, and it's, I don't know, maybe it shouldn't be, maybe I'm overthinking it, but I'm kind of like a all-around crafter. I do everything. I don't just do like cards, although I do a lot of cards. I don't just do cards. And so I don't have like typical card making tools. I don't have like actual like dies to like cut my cards or any of those things. I do it either with my Cricut or with scissors and my paper cutter. And that's sort of how I make cards. And so this card that I used, I cut out the shapes and sizes with my Cricut, but you can just do it with just regular cutting out with scissors. And then these panels are all sort of, I'm going to say standard sizes, but you can make any size that would fit with a little bit of an edge around it. So I don't have a favorite technique. I think my favorite technique is just winging it. I don't know if that's the best answer, but I kind of do everything. What is your least favorite color? Ooh, that's a good one. My least favorite color. Let's see. I think, I don't know. Like that's a really hard question, because I like greens. I like blues for like Christmassy colors, for like snows. I like pinks and purples because they're like flowery. Yellow is really nice, but my least favorite, I'm going to say maybe like a greenish browny color. It's nice for like, flowers and sort of accents, but maybe that's my least favorite color. I don't know if that's the best answer for that one, but do you like to ink blend? I've never actually done ink blending. and I've watched so every year when I do these summits, I get to watch everyone's videos as well, sort of just like you guys. And so I do like to I watch these ink blending videos and I think, wow, that's amazing. And my biggest fear is that if I start ink blending, it's just going to add like another thing to my pile of crafts. And so you can't see it here. I've got a bunch of stuff here behind me and kind of over here, but all this area underneath is like storage for my craft supplies. And now there's a pile growing over there, and that whole area there is full of craft stuff. And if I buy more stuff and if I try ink blending, I think I'm just gonna like have more and more and more. I'm a little bit worried about like trying to downsize this so that I'm not super crazy and like going nuts. But I've seen some of the ink blending techniques that some of the other crafters are doing, and wow, they're amazing. I might venture into it one day, but I have not tried it yet. So my crafts involve paper, cutting, and glue. Really is sort of the extent of it, and then like some embellishments here and there. But I've never actually tried inking, which I'd love to do. How does the snowflake slide into the card? All right, so this is the front, and when I make the card, it's actually like 7 pieces of paper for this snowflake, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, I think it's 7. So this snowflake, let me just put this, sorry, my angle's off here, and I'm gonna throw it around. So the snowflake actually has like a fold in it there, like that. And so this fold is what the card goes through. It kind of goes right through here like that. And so you slide this through the gap. And I go through it in my video. When you're actually making this card in the video, you actually need to make sure that you have a small gap in here so that the card will fit. A lot of gatefold cards that you buy at the store, like, because I made this one custom, but if you buy them, there's like almost no gap here. So you can see here in the camera angle that there is, you can see the white a little bit. So you need to make sure that there's a little bit of a gap in there. And then we open this up like this. And we kind of put this into here. Now, this is on live camera, so it's not going to go perfectly, but it goes like that. And now it's inside the card. I actually made that work pretty well. And then so it slides and holds the card shut like this. So the one thing that I did notice, and I'll tell you guys as a secret, if you're ever going to make a card, if you're going to make my card or any other card, having all of these ridges around the snowflake looks really cute, but when you're trying to put this into the card, it just makes it harder to get it in because it'll actually like bump on these edges when you're trying to slide it in. So it can be a little bit harder, but that's all right. All right. How long have you been making cards? So I've been making cards maybe 4 years now, I think. I think this is the 4th year. This is at least the 3rd year that I'm in this in the Card Maker Success Summit. So this is either the 4th year I'm in this. I'm pretty sure this is the 4th year that I've done the Card Making Success Summit. So I've been making cards since a little bit before that. So maybe like 4.5, 5 years I've been making cards. And I find that cards are like the go-to craft because I'm always making cards at my house. I'll get to this question in just 1 second, but I'm always making cards because my kids are always using cards, and I've got birthday cards and anniversary cards and get well cards. And so cards are like the thing that's like it's turned into my go-to craft. That if I need to make something, it's a craft that I do. So question from Susan. In what way do you think your t-shirt design making has helped you with your card making? So that's a really good question. I think that I don't know. Like, I like to make t-shirts, but I've actually stopped making them as much as I used to. Although I do need to make a few more this week. But I think it's just sort of I try to come up with like witty comments for my t-shirts. And so I think it helps, maybe sometimes helps with making sort of the internal statements of the cards a little bit more personalized, a little bit more funny. I try to keep things a little bit light. I don't want to have I try not to be too serious with things. And then I find too that the neat thing about some of the designs that I do is like with a lot of crafting, like this snowflake, right? It could be used for a card. It could be used for Christmas decorations. It could be used for a whole bunch of different things. And so I find that a lot of the designs that I use for my t-shirts or my cards can sort of be flipped back and forth. So I find that that's helpful, even like just little elements of the designs, not necessarily the whole thing. So, all right. What is your favorite type of card to make? Oh, that's a tough one. I think right now my favorite type of card is a simple card. And I did a few weeks ago. So this is a long story, so just bear with me for a second here. So every every Thursday, I do what's called Crafting Unscripted on my YouTube channel, and it is a 30-minute crafting event with me, and it's really kind of like totally unplanned. It's not scripted, it's not edited, it's live, and it goes chaotic every week. But a few weeks ago, before summer vacation, I did a 3 or 4 part series on making cards using Canva. And it was just sort of making cards. Maybe I don't know if it was specifically with using Canva, but it was just making cards in general. And it was like using dollar store supplies pretty much and everything for free. And so I make these cards, and I might have some right here to show you. Oh, this is my box. This is my card box. This is my box of mostly finished cards that I go through all the time. But I went through and I do these, like I pull up these little like simple sentiments, I cut them out and I have them ready to go. And then I just like make a card like this, right? So it's a simple design. Someone's already designed this. I get it for free from Canva because they've got the free ones. I put some paper on the back and I fold it up, and now I've got a card. So I have like a billion of these kind of cards. And so let me see if I can get some other ones here that are actually haven't been used, because my kids are always taking the cards. So I've got like, they're just simple cards. That's the standard Cricut one. So they're just little cards. And I find that making these types of cards, and I get this paper. I'm just going to pull this out from my stash of paper. I get these like pre-cut, but these little dollar store packages of paper. And I just fold this in half, and then I, slap a design on top of it. And then I've got a card. And I find this works really great because my kids are constantly stealing my cards. And so, just little cards like this, right? So it's a simple, quick card, but it comes out for sort of anything and any event and any occasion. And like you can even put I'll put, like washi tape on top of it to give it a design and leave it without a statement. Just something nice, right? It's like a nice, cute card. Whoops, I need this one back here. It's a nice, cute card. So I find that making those types of cards right now is my favorite because they're quick, they're sort of multi-purposed, and like I can make the templates, like, so I'll pull this one back up here for a second. So like this one here, sorry, I'm trying to get the angle so it doesn't fade too much, but this is the folded card. I made like a panel here with just scrap paper, and then I stick these two together, and then they wait until I need it, right? And this was supposed to be a Father's Day card that never happened, but that was the idea. And then I just stick this sort of panel on top of it with the sentiment, and it's ready to go. So it takes like 30 seconds on my way out the door, wherever I need a card for. So that's probably my favorite type of card. I don't know if that's got a real card name because, as I mentioned before, I'm not like a crafter, like a card crafter specifically. I kind of do everything. So that's kind of my favorite type. Could this card be made with either Cricut or a Big Shot? So my card, I'm assuming you mean my card, the one that I've got here that I made. So I made this with the Cricut. And the video that I did for this was done on my Cricut. So I'd go through how to use it on the Cricut. I'm not sure about the Big Shot, but the file, I've never used a Big Shot, but I think that if the files that are used by the Big Shot is an SVG file, then it should work no problem. I know a lot of my projects in the past, people have used them on the Silhouettes. They've used them on the Brother machines. So they haven't had any issues with them. Sometimes you need to resize it, but then even when I import the files into Cricut, it needs to be resized. So in my videos, I tell you what size you need to resize it to get the card to turn out into a nice, usable, manageable size. Do you make more cards with or without the Cricut? So right now, I'm going to say it's like a 50-50 between Cricut and not Cricut cards. Just because, like, Cricut, with my Cricut, I can do the intricate designs, right? I'm terrible when it comes to like precision cutting and busy cutting. Some people love it. Some people swear by it. My drawing and my cutting skills are equivalent to that of a 4-year-old. My son is better at it than I am, and he's only 6. So it's really a matter of my inability to cut straight lines and cut around busy cutting that makes me go to my Cricut to help me with cards. But when it comes to like let's go with this card here, right? I've got these panels and the actual card. This I'll typically just do by hand because I find it's faster than doing it with my Cricut. But when it comes to like these parts of the card where you've got this design or this, I'll use my Cricut to make that. So it's kind of a 50-50. Are you concerned about the weight of the cardstock? So I think I know where you're going with this question. So I use 60-pound cardstock. I typically use Recollections brand just because that's what they sell here at the Michaels, often for the color paper, and I like to buy it like the big bulk packages with 1,000 colors in them. And it's 60-pound cardstock. And I don't find that there's an issue with the cardstock weight, only because I don't actually mail my cards. Typically the cards go to I deliver them sort of by hand. I don't mail very many cards, but I'm pretty sure that if I was to try to mail these cards, that it would be like a, what's it called? It wouldn't be standard weight. You would have to actually pay extra for it. So I haven't really paid too much attention to it because I don't mail cards, but I'm sure that like with this card here where it's got, 12 sheets of paper, you would probably be paying a little bit more for postage on that. Do you make backgrounds to use for later? So I do sometimes. I sometimes do use backgrounds to use for later. So in those cards that I showed you, that I just put away here, I've given them. So even though I'm not a card crafter in a sense, I'm constantly making cards and I'm constantly giving away cards. And so just bear with me for a second. I'll see if I've got any blank backgrounds here, but typically I've just used a whole bunch, and these are sort of a bunch of my cards from previous summits or cards that haven't been used yet. But I will do like pull up this Father's Day card just on top. I will make these types of backgrounds beforehand and then just sit them and wait for them to be used. But I'll put this background on a card body so that it's ready to go. I won't just have like this piece here. I won't just sort of have waiting, but I do have like a whole bunch of sentiments pre-cut out. You can't see them because my lighting is really not cooperating with this. I've got like a whole bunch of like pre-cut sentiments, and they're all just ready to be, they're cut in size. Whoa, sorry. I think I just turned my screen off there. So I've got all the pieces ready. Now it's just a matter of when do I need to send that card or give that card out. So have you designed your Christmas? Have I designed my Christmas cards yet? Well, I have not. So my Christmas cards are typically, I don't want to say this, but they're really lame. I don't do because I do Christmas cards to family, and typically the big thing about my Christmas cards is I do like a picture of my kids, and then I edit the picture to like, have a phrase on it and like, some Christmas, the year, the names, and like some decorations or whatever. So I'll do that for the Christmas card, and then it kind of goes into a simple plain like piece of paper in an envelope, because I think that by the time I get to doing my Christmas cards, I'm done with the cards. So, but there are a few that I've done in past summits that have made it into my sort of things of cards that go through. But I have not done my Christmas cards yet. Any other questions? Okay. All right. Before we wrap up, I'm just going to say 5 things. Sorry. Bear with me for 1 second. Make sure you check me out at KatherineLearnStuff.com. Also, check me out on my YouTube page, Katherine LearnStuff. I do a weekly live on Thursdays at 12:30. I do crazy crafting. It's me like this in the live. But also make sure that you watch my video today on the summit. In there, I've got a code embedded in the video that you've got to watch to get access to. But I have a code for my shop where you get a huge discount if you like my designs. This is the time to go in there and check them out. I'm not going to share it with you, but actually watch the video to get that. So be sure to check out my video, make this card. And if you make it, put a picture of it onto the Facebook page so that I can see it, because I love to see how the cards turn out. I love how people make their own color combinations and figure out how to make the cards look nice. So please make sure that you go there and check it. Show me your card if you make it. Watch my video, and then be sure to sign up for my newsletter at KatherineLearnStuff.com, and also check me out on Facebook, Pinterest, and YouTube. All right, everyone, thanks so much, and I will see you guys soon.